Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2000s, this brand new podcast that I decided to do. For those that don't know, my name is Kyle Bridger. I am a member of the Wrestling Nerds Radio Network. I have a podcast that I do with my cousin Theo every week called the OTS Project. So check that out if you are watching this podcast on this channel. It is this channel, so you can find it on this channel. So go check that out. But I've always, I grew up, I was born in 1998, and so basically I grew up in the 2000s, and as I've gotten older, I fondly look back on nostalgia in the 2000s and different things, the movies, the food, the aesthetics, the music, the video games, the TV shows, the toys, even things like school and holidays I have very fond memories of, and I give my parents credit for giving me a very good childhood that I can look back on and really enjoy the nostalgia of the 2000s. So a couple months ago I made a TikTok account called Back2tha2000s where I just posted and still post photos and videos of commercials or food and things like that from the 2000s just to feel that nostalgia and kind of go back and relive, I guess, my inner childhood. So it was kind of running parallel, me doing the OTS project and me doing this TikTok kind of running parallel. And so recently I said, why am I not utilizing what I have here that I'd use, every week for the podcast that I do already and make a 2000s podcast? So that's what we're doing. So welcome back to the 2000s, my little intro. I don't think this is going to be a weekly podcast just because I do have a lot of topics and I want to go through, I don't know, I have maybe people, if you're watching or listening, you can kind of give me input and feedback on how you want to do this. But I feel like if we just go year by year and talk about different things. So the first topic is movies in 2000. So we're going to start at 2000. And so I figured if I'm doing a topic, it'll be movies in 2000, shows in 2000, toys in 2000, video games in 2000, food in 2000, things like that, and just go year by year, as well as big wrestling person. I've been in the wrestling business for over 10 years, so I figured that is another aspect. We can do, WWE in 2000, WWE in 2001, and so on and so forth from 2000 to basically 2009, and then once we kind of get through all these topics, then we can maybe move into like the 2010s, because I was still kind of a kid and a teenager in the 2010s, so I still have some nostalgic feelings there as well. So yeah, once we kind of get through all of the 2000s with all these topics, then we can move into the 2010s. But I don't think this is going to be a weekly podcast because even though I do have a ton of topics, I don't want to just blow through everything, as well as, again, I do have a weekly podcast already that I kind of handle, and that, that in itself can be a lot. So I figured we'll do this we'll see again, maybe once a month, maybe once every other week. We'll maybe do 2 a month. I'll feel it out. I'll see how this episode does. I'll see, the reception and the feedback. So yeah, we'll maybe do once a month, maybe twice a month, depending on how I'm feeling and how I think this is going. So yeah, it's not going to be a weekly podcast, but definitely make sure you kind of subscribe here or follow me on TikTok and things like that. You can see the at is on here, at Back2tha2000s with an A instead of an E in the. So yeah, my first topic, movies in 2000. So I basically went on Letterboxd and found, a list of basically every movie that was released theatrically or on DVD and things like that throughout 2000, just the year 2000 we're going to start at. And so I separated this list into movies I have seen, movies I haven't seen, and then I went through and I figured we can kind of end the podcast or end the episode with the top 5 grossing movies of 2000 and the bottom grossing movies of 2000, which obviously isn't the bottom of the bottom, but it's going to be, I think, from the list that I gathered, it's movies that had, that were supposed to do good that just really, didn't do good. Didn't make the money that they needed. So yeah, and I figure again, when we go to movies in 2001, we'll do the same thing: movies I've seen, movies I haven't seen, and then the top 5 grossing and the bottom 5 grossing of 2001, and again, so on and so forth, and we'll just go through things like that. So yeah, we can jump right into this. So movies in 2000. I will say though, let's preface this: I was born in 1998, so in 2000 I was 2 years old. So wasn't going to the theater to watch these movies, so I will say that. So my list of movies I have seen are movies that I've seen from 2000 that I obviously have seen on DVD as a kid, or maybe I've even watched in my adult life for the first time. So as we get further in, and once we get to 2003, 2004, things like that, then I'll have more of a theatrical experience, and that again kind of goes for anything, whether it's a TV show or a video game. If it's in 2000, it's probably something that I played later, but I still have fond memories of, and I probably still played it as a kid. I just didn't play it or watch it or consume it in general in that year because, again, I was like 2 years old. So yeah, any of the stuff here is definitely movies that I've probably seen later down the line, but I still have a nostalgic feeling towards them. And there's a lot of movies that I haven't seen as well, or that I may have seen, but I don't really remember much of. So movies I have seen, American Psycho is first. That movie is one of my favorite movies, but it is a movie that I watched kind of in my adult life rather than watching it as a kid because it is kind of an intense movie, a messed up movie. So this is a movie that I do love. It's one of my favorite kind of like horror movies. But yeah, definitely did watch it as a kid, but now as an adult, I love it. Big one though, the original X-Men, the first X-Men movie came out in 2000. This is one that I did watch as a kid. Love this movie. It is very campy, it is cheesy, it is corny, but I do love this movie. This is the beginning of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, so that's a pretty big, all these years later, he's still Wolverine. About a year ago now, when I'm recording this, we got Deadpool and Wolverine, so he's still playing Wolverine all these years later. So obviously that was a big cultural moment there with that. But in general, I do love the movie, even if it is kind of campy and corny. I do love this movie. It has a lot of memories in my heart for sure. Grinch, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I don't know the official title, but this is another one I watched as a kid, of course. Jim Carrey nails this role. I love the Grinch movie. Watched it as a kid. I do remember this is a sentimental moment here. When the movie did come out, I don't know if again exactly it's when the movie came out or maybe it was a promotion they did a couple years later or something like that. But there was a Wendy's kids meal when Wendy's had legitimate kids meals with toys. There was a Wendy's Grinch kids meal, and we still have it to this day on our Christmas tree. It was a Christmas tree / it was a toy, but it was also utilized as a Christmas ornament, and it's still on our Christmas tree. There was like this spinner of Max kind of sledding, Max the dog kind of sledding down a hill, that you could use as like, it was almost like a dreidel. It was like a spinner toy, but it also had a kind of a thread on the top of his head that you can put on your Christmas tree. It is still on our Christmas tree today. So every time I look at that, I do have a fun 2000s kind of nostalgia moment of being a little kid and playing with that toy and then putting it back on the Christmas tree. And yeah, it is still on our Christmas tree to this day in our family house. But yeah, I love this movie. It's a great movie. Emperor's New Groove, another one I love. I watched this as a kid. Great movie, fun movie. There was a show that came out that we'll probably obviously talk about later. So I do remember watching the show a lot as a kid, but I also watched this movie a lot as a kid. I think David Spade isn't, probably wasn't Disney's like first choice, but he nails this role as Cusco. I think the whole movie is great. The characters are great. Fun memories watching this growing up, as well as the extremely goofy movie. I love the first Goofy movie, but I also love this one. I'm not sure what the reception is for this movie, if a lot of people love it or if a lot of people hate it compared to the first one. I love the first one, but I also love this one. I like Max going to college and like kind of trying to figure himself out while also joining like the X Games or whatever it was. So yeah, I love this movie. Me and my sister watched this movie a lot as kids. Pokemon 2000, another one that I watched a lot as a kid. I think I had it on VHS instead of DVD. I had an actual VHS of Pokemon 2000 that I watched a lot. There was I believe, it's on one of these movies. I'm assuming it's Pokemon 2000 though, where there's like a bonus feature thing, and they had some sort of kind of like Pokemon. I don't know if it was the premiere or like some convention or just like an announcement to announce the movie, but there was like some sort of celebration of Pokemon, and they had a bonus feature where some boy band, I don't even remember which boy band, if it was like one of the big ones or if it was a small one, but I remember there was this boy band that had like this performance that I remember watching a lot, and I just loved the atmosphere and like the Pokemon posters and banners around and whatnot. So yeah, Pokemon 2000 I've definitely seen a lot. Rugrats in Paris, another one I love and have seen a lot. My mother actually still quotes this movie to this day, I believe. It's another one that we had on VHS. Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas. This one, I'm not sure how many people love this one. I'm not sure if it's like this huge classic movie. But it was big in our household. Me and my sister, again, watched this a lot. I believe we had the DVD, not the VHS. We had the DVD of this. Yeah, this was a movie that we watched a lot. Loved it. I remember when they get to the hotel in Rock Vegas, the room with like the pool in the room. I always thought was a really cool kind of moment, and still rings in my head to this day. Little Vampire, another one. Kind of could be scary with the actual vampires as a kid, but another one that we watched a lot as a kid. Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. I'm not gonna lie, I did watch this, but I don't remember too much of it, so I can't cover too much of it, but I definitely do remember watching this as a kid at some point. Scream 3. This one. Clearly was not watching this as a kid, but if you can see in my background there, I do have a ghost face mask. The past couple years, I'm not a big horror person. I've never been like a big horror person. I don't like getting jump scared is really what it is. So I technically could watch like a horror movie, but I don't really like the jump scares. But a couple years ago, I said, screw it, I'm gonna sit down and watch these Scream movies, and I love the Scream movies now. It's my favorite horror franchise. Again, you could see there we go, my Ghostface mask in the background there. I absolutely love these movies. I watch them as an adult, and I feel like obviously, there are a lot of jump scares, but I feel like because it's kind of a comical movie as well as a horror movie, the jump scares never really got me. And I've seen all of the Scream movies at this point. I don't think any of the jump scares have gotten me because they do a good job of kind of telling you it's coming, but also like it is kind of comical. So I think that's why I like it, because I just love the design of Ghostface, but as well, like in general, it just not really scary to me. It's more of just a really enjoyable films to watch. But Scream 3, I believe this is the one where they're on the movie studio, if I'm correct. And if it is, then yeah, this one I actually like. I don't think a lot of people like this one, but I do like it. I like the idea of them, because the whole idea of these movies is like a parody of horror movies and whatnot. So I do like them actually kind of going to a movie set and kind of having the killer be in and around the movie set. And there's that cameo by Carrie Fisher, which when I watched it a couple years ago, got a big surprise out of me. I think I was watching it with my mother, who, I'm a big Star Wars fan, obviously. My mother is a big Star Wars fan as well. So we got a nice little surprise, and it put a smile on both of our faces when Carrie Fisher pops up. Dinosaur, another one. I have seen this, but I don't remember too much of it. My biggest connection to Dinosaur, I guess, would actually be the Dinosaur ride. That is, I don't even know if it's still at Disney, because I know they're putting Indiana Jones there or something like that. But so I don't know if it's still operating or if they have closed it down. But that ride is loosely connected to the movie. Originally, it wasn't, but then when this movie came out, I believe they put the iguanodon in the movie, or in the ride, so it is technically connected to the movie, as well as there's the statue out front. So that's my biggest connection, is riding Dinosaur, because I do like that ride. But the movie itself, I don't remember a single thing about, but I do know I've seen it. Color of Friendship, another one that I know I've seen, but I don't have too much of a connection to. I don't have too much that I can kind of, put to it, but I do remember seeing it. I believe it was on Disney Channel at some point. I don't know if it was a Disney Channel original movie or if it was just like a Disney movie that then they put on Disney Channel, but I definitely have seen it on Disney Channel as a kid before. Chicken Run, another one I know I've watched, but haven't really like connected to. I know there's some people that love like the Chicken Run movies and the Wallace and Gromit movies and Shaun the Sheep and whatnot. So I have seen this movie, but I don't remember too much of it. Up and Away, another one I have seen. I feel like I may have seen clips of it recently, but I don't remember like the plot of it, but I do remember watching it, and it is a fun movie. And lastly, for movies that I have seen, this one is a wild one. Little Mermaid 2, there is like a subtitle there, but I don't remember what the subtitle is. But yeah, I believe this was straight to DVD or straight to VHS. This was not in theaters. This was not on like Disney Channel. I believe this was like a straight to DVD sequel to The Little Mermaid. And I'm not gonna lie, me and my sister watched this movie a ton as a kid. For those that don't know about it, basically the whole idea is that like they have a kid. That, I mean, like that. I feel like that's most Disney sequels or straight to DVD sequels, is the two main characters have a kid. So Ariel and Eric have a daughter who kind of wants to, similar to Ariel in the first movie, I believe she wants to like explore, and they're kind of cautious. And I believe Ursula comes back somehow, some way. Ursula, I believe, comes back, or no, I think it's her sister. I think Ursula has a sister that shows up. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I believe Ursula has like a sister that shows up, probably called like Mersula or something. So yeah, she has like a sister, I believe, that shows up that takes the Ursula spot for that movie, and tries to like, coerce the daughter into giving up her voice or something. Very similar to the first movie, I believe. And then they end up defeating her, and they all live happily ever after. So probably isn't a great movie. And again, I think it was like a straight to DVD sequel of The Little Mermaid. But as a kid, I remember loving it, and I feel like me and my sister actually probably watched this way more than we actually watched the original Little Mermaid, for sure. So that's kind of all the movies that I know I've seen, even if I don't have a ton of recollection of them. I do know that I have seen them. So moving into the movies I have not seen, or at least I don't remember much of seeing. Charlie's Angels, I know this is a big one. They've made multiple sequels, multiple kind of like reboots and whatnot. I know a few years ago they did that kind of reboot with who was it? It was with Kristen Stewart and Naomi Scott and somebody else that I'm blanking on. I know they tried to do that reboot, and I don't think it went off. I believe I may have actually seen that movie, but I have not seen the original Charlie's Angels. It's on my Letterboxd watch list for sure. Castaway, another one I have not seen. I know, crazy. kill me. This is probably like one of the biggest movies, if not the biggest movie of 2000, really. At least looking back, I would say. Yeah, I have not seen it. It's on my list. Unbreakable, another one I haven't seen. I don't really have much interest in seeing it, but obviously, I know this and Split and Glass and all that are connected, and there's definitely a fan base there. Another one of the biggest ones for sure to come out of 2000 is Gladiator, the first Gladiator movie released in 2000. Recently, literally just a few months ago at this point, I believe, we got Gladiator 2. I have not seen either of them. They are both on my watch list, but I know obviously this is a huge movie to come out in 2000. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, another one I haven't seen, but I know this is a big movie. Little Nicky, this one I also need to see. Clearly, I'm a big Adam Sandler fan. My dad actually looked very similar to Adam Sandler. We always said it. That's his celebrity lookalike, was Adam Sandler. So, big Adam Sandler family here. We enjoy watching his movies and whatnot. This is one I have not seen though, so I definitely need to watch it. Billy Elliot, I have not seen. This one I've actually recently been kind of paying attention to because I've kind of been seeing TikTok clips of like the Broadway like musical and whatnot. And then I realized that this was actually a movie and whatnot, so definitely need to watch that. Aaron Brockovich, this is a movie that my mother loves that I have not seen, and I feel like she tells me consistently that this is a movie I need to watch. It's a very good movie. Meet the Parents, another one that's pretty big. They have multiple sequels and whatnot. I believe I just saw recently that they're working on like another one, I think. So, yeah, big movie there. Dude, Where's My Car? This one is this is high up on my list. I'm a big fan of Ashton Kutcher. I love this thing didn't come out in 2000. We're a few years off, but Cheaper by the Dozen, I love that movie, and he's obviously in the first one. And I just watched it recently again with my cousin. Hilarious movie. I absolutely love that movie. So I need to watch this movie because I know he's also hilarious in this movie, and I have seen the scene of them in the drive-thru. Obviously, that's probably the biggest scene to come out of the whole movie. So that one I definitely need to see. Remember the Titans, another one. I'm a big Denzel Washington fan, so this is on my watch list for sure. Coyote Ugly. I'm pretty sure my uncle is a big fan of this one for 3 reasons. But yeah, another one I haven't seen, but I definitely need to see. Bring It On. I feel like I have seen this, but I don't remember like anything of it other than like Kristen Dunst is in it. So yeah, another one I need to see. Scary Movie. I definitely like have seen, but remember absolutely like nothing from it. But I've definitely seen like some version of Scary Movie or 1 or 2, 3 something. I've definitely seen versions of those movies. Final Destination. That's another big one that everybody obviously loves. Again, just recently we got another sequel to Final Destination, so this is a huge franchise that kind of started in 2000 as well as Gladiator and Mission Impossible as well, where it's Mission Impossible 2 came out in 2000, another huge franchise, so the sequel to the first movie that is obviously a huge hit. I haven't seen this movie, so I don't know how much people in the fan base love the second one or don't love the second one, but I feel like I've heard that it is a pretty big like fan favorite within the Mission Impossible franchise. And the last one I haven't seen, Perfect Storm. That's another one I have to see. So that's kind of the list of movies in 2000 that I have not seen. So yeah, and lastly here though to kind of tie in the top 5 grossing and the bottom, kind of not the bottom 5, but we'll say the box office flops of 2000. So the top 5 grossing movies starting from the bottom and going up. Meet the Parents with 161 million at the end of their box office run. So that's at the bottom there. Perfect Storm. Again, I haven't seen it. I don't know what it's even about, but this had a $182 million box office at the end of their run. Gladiator, again, huge. The beginning of a franchise here. 186 million at the end of their box office run. Mission Impossible 2, again, I don't know how much people love it, in the grand scheme, but it seemed like people were loving it for sure. Again, the first movie was huge, so when you get that sequel out, I'm sure people were going to be driving in droves to the theater to see it, and I'm correct there because Mission Impossible 2 is number 2 on this list with $215 million at the end of their box office run, and the number 1, as far as I know, as far as what the lists that I saw said, I could be wrong, but I looked through a few lists, and this was kind of the consensus. The biggest, most highest grossing movie of 2000 is The Grinch with $254 million at the end of its box office run. That's huge. Obviously, again, people loved it. People love Jim Carrey. people love that classic story of the Grinch, so you put the two together, and seems like a recipe for success. Glad to see Jim Carrey's hard work clearly, didn't go to waste with, I've heard those stories of him having to go through like CIA torture training to be able to withstand being in all that makeup and suit every day, which makes sense because it could be definitely like a torment for sure. So Grinch is number one with 254 million. So going from the top to bottom, number one is Grinch, 254 million. Mission Impossible 2 with 215 million. Gladiator with 186 million. Perfect Storm with 182 million, and Meet the Parents with 161 million dollars. So yeah, that's the top 5 grossing movies of the year 2000, and the box office flops of 2000 here. Battlefield Earth at the bottom, $29 million, and their budget was $73 million. So, very bad. This is the only movie that I at least know of, I believe, on this list. And I only know of this because I've seen people clown it. I've seen John Travolta dressed as a crazy, weird alien. So this is the only one I know on this list. But yeah, Battlefield Earth, $29 million at the end of their run, and the budget was $73 million. Bait, I do not know. Again, the rest of these movies I don't believe I know. But Bait with $15 million box office revenue there, and their budget was $51 million, so not great. Almost Famous, $47 million at the end of their run. Their budget was $60 million. All the Pretty Horses had an $18 million box office run, and their budget was $57 million. And number one, 28 Days, had a $62 million box office run with a budget of $43 million. So barely kind of even broke even at that point. So yeah, that's and again, I could be wrong with this list, but I'm just human, so I may make mistakes, but I believe this is the list of the kind of biggest box office flops of 2000. Battlefield Earth, Bait, Almost Famous, All the Pretty Horses, and 28 Days. So yeah, that's kind of the list there for the box office flops, the top 5 grossing, and then the movies I haven't seen but came out in 2000, and the movies I have seen that came out in 2000. In general, again, I was like 2 years old, so can't give too much to this, at least for the time. So again, as we kind of get through and we go towards movies and shows in 2003 and 4, I'll definitely have more to kind of say and whatnot. But yeah, that's kind of the end of the first episode here. It's not a long podcast here, only about 22 minutes. But like I said, once we get through, deeper into the 2000s, I'll have more. And the episodes will probably be a lot longer because I'll have more stories and more of a connection to this stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Back to the 2000s, the first episode ever. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys